be using Procreate to create some animations. Once you've opened up Procreate, you can click on the plus icon. You can click on the plus right here to make a custom size if that's something that you want. I'm just going to stick with the default screen size, but do whatever works for you. I'm going to change the color here to something else for now. I'm going to go over to the wrench icon and I'm going to turn on Animation Assist, which just gives us a different way of looking at the layers over here and some settings that are particularly helpful for working with an animation. So I'm just going to make something called a guide, and that is probably not what I want the brush to look like right now, so something like this will be better. And I'm just going to be planning out the movement of a ball. So this is going to be the ball at the top. This is going to be the bottom location. When the ball first kicks off of the ground, it's going to be moving much faster. And as it gets higher, it's going to be slowing down. And then the lines are going to be closer together at the top, which is where it's slowed the most due to gravity. All right, I'm going to add a new frame. And I'm going to change my color so that it's just something that's easy to see. And when the ball is on the ground, it's going to be sort of squashed because of the force of hitting the ground. Add frame to make another drawing. Now the ball is going to be sort of stretching to bounce away. And the ball is going to get rounder as it moves farther away. Probably should have left the stretch going a little bit longer, but I'm just going to run with it. So I can play through and see how that's looking. I'm going to come over, and I probably should have done this earlier. I'm just going to hold down, or sorry, do a tap on my first frame, and I'm going to make that the background. The first frame can be saved as the background, and the last frame, if you do a tap on it, can be saved as the foreground if it's something that you always want to see across all of the frames. So now when I play through, you see the guide the whole time. And it's just helpful for when you're planning out different movements. Now, a couple other settings that you can work with while you're working on an animation is you can change the behavior to just play through a single time, ping pong back and forth, or just continually loop. So you can choose what makes sense for whatever you happen to be animating. Back in the settings, we can control the frame rate, so how long those frames display over a single second or how many of them occur. So when I increase the number here, I really speed up the animation. When I slow down the number, I slow down the animation. As far as the onion skin goes, seeing the other drawings, I can choose how many I want to see going forwards and backwards. I'll often keep it at 1 or 2 just so that I can see what's on either side of my drawing. When I am finished, if I come over to my layers, if there's something that I don't want to see in the video or GIF export, I can just deselect the guide or other frames that I don't want visible. When I play through, I just see my ball bouncing. I think I'm going to have this ping pong. Definitely should have had the stretch going a little bit longer, but I think that you get the idea. A couple other things about working in Procreate that I just want to mention. If you drag a color to a closed area, it'll fill in, so that's something that's handy. I can go through and make my ball solid. Oh, better make sure it's actually a closed shape. Again, 2-finger tap is undo, and a 3-finger tap is redo. Now, when you're ready to export a video, you can come back over to the wrench icon, and then under the sharing settings, you'll either want to select probably the animated GIF or the animated MP4. These will work in the largest variety of places. You can use some of the other animated formats, it's just they may or may not work. And if you're planning on using your drawings in another animation software, you might want to go with the PNG files or as a PSD. So I'm going to go with animated GIF. You can do some adjusting to your settings if you need to. You can make the background transparent if you want, depending on the format that you're working with. And then export. And you can choose where you're exporting to, whether you're airdropping it over to a computer that you're working on, saving the image in photos, a few other sharing options over here, depending on what you want to do. And I'm just going to save the image to the photo library.